Okay, so this video is going to cover tuples, and since tuples are similar to lists, I think this will just be one video because I'll do the multiple choice. I didn't put as much multiple choice in this one. I think I only have like 9 questions, um, and I'm only going to go through like 2 programs. So um, let's kind of look at this, and this might be helpful for some of you. So let's do this. All right, so let's look at the differences between Python lists. All right, so if I look right here, lists are created using the brackets, the square brackets, okay? Um, and lists are mutable, meaning that you can change them, okay? Dictionaries, okay? Dictionaries are mutable, meaning you can change them, and they're created using the braces. Okay. Tuples are immutable, meaning you cannot change them. Okay. Once they're set, you cannot change them. Now you can overwrite them, but they're created using the parentheses. Okay. So you're going to have to memorize that when you use these in and out. So, um, I'm guessing people are going to be like, well, if tuples are not changeable, why wouldn't you just create lists instead? Because lists are more powerful. You can change lists, you can change the items in the lists. Um, well, when you're working with large programs, you may not want your items in your list to change, and you wouldn't want somebody to overwrite that data, and so you would want to use a tuple to force the user to not allow them to change the list. At the same time, tuples are, if you're going through lots of data, they're more efficient than a list. So, with the little rinky dink programs that we create in school, you're not going to notice any improvement in speed, and you're not going to be working with enough variables, and the programs aren't going to be long enough to really, care, because you probably just want to use a list. But in industry, it's hard keeping track of, possibly hundreds or thousands of variables, and so if you want them not to change, make them a tuple, okay? So let's go through. So to create a tuple, I've got x equals, you could do it like this. You could say x equals 1, 2, 3, okay, and you could print x, okay. You can print the different index positions. So just like a list, position 0 is 1. Right here, position 1 is going to be 2. And position 2 is going to be 3. Okay. Now, I can do this and overwrite it. So now x is now pointing to this data. This is fine. I can print x. Okay. There's no errors there. Where you would get into problems when I said they're not mutable, they're immutable. You cannot do like x at position 1, which is 5. I could not set that equal to, I don't know, 10 right here. That's where I get an error. Tuple object does not support item assignment, so I can't just change one of my items. I'd have to go back and do a list if I wanted to do this, okay? Some cool things with tuples, you could do something like t equals tuple A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And watch this, I can do print and print T. Okay, and so what that did is it took all of my string A B C D E F G and put them into the different items in my tuple. Okay, so I can do the same thing here. I could print T at position 3, I guess. Let's try that. 0, 1, 2, 3 is D. Okay. Tuples, same thing with slices. If you remember slices, going from position 2, 0, 1, 2 is C. 3, 4, 5. Remember, we don't go to position 5. It's 5 minus 1, so that gives me E. Okay. And another big one is the zip method in here. I know they talk about the zip method. I'm not sure they give a very good. Yeah, they give an okay examples. I've got a better one that I'm gonna demonstrate for you when we start doing the programs. Okay, so bear with me. I'll get back to the zip method and show you how that works with one of the programs. But first, we're gonna go through the multiple choice real quick. So suppose T equals a tuple that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3. Which of the following is incorrect? We'll remember what we said. Tuples are immutable, so you can't change an item in it. So that would be incorrect. You can print an item. You can find the max item in the tuple, and you can find the length of a tuple. Okay, just like in with a list. Okay, this next one, suppose. So we want to do the slice 0, 1, so 2. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, which is just going to be 2 and 4. Boom, right there. Because remember, we got our items 0, 1, 2, 3. So that should be, you should be able to recognize that from lists. This one is printing two tuples. Let me see here. Two tuples added together, so they're all in single quotes, so it wouldn't be A. And then remember this right here, the square bracket, that would be used for a list, and these are tuples. So your answer is B, because they're in parentheses. 4, is the following piece of code valid? Oh, this is kind of cool. You can actually delete a tuple if you want to. So yes, you can delete it just fine. So C, yes, the entire tuple is deleted, not the first element or anything like that. What gets printed? You're trying to append information on to the original tuple. That's going to give you an error, because remember, they're immutable. By using append, you're trying to actually change the original tuple, which you cannot do. What will the output of the following program be? You got your tuple 1, 2, 3. You take 2 times the tuple, so you've got A 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 2, 3. And remember, printing it isn't changing it, so that's okay. 7, what will be the output? Oh, this is kind of cool. So, and I'm not sure lists work the same way. I haven't gone through this, but this is interesting. So, let's just go in and program this real quick. So, what do we got? T equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if I did print and I did T -1 and ran this, okay, -1 is the last position. Okay, so not only can you go from 0, 0 being the first position, to 1, 2, 3, 3 being the first position, okay? What you can also do is go backwards. So -1 is right there. -2 is right here. -3, -4 gives me 1. Now if I do -5, that should give me an out of bounds there. Tuple index, or out of range. Sorry, out of bounds is Java. Out of range would be Python. Sorry, I got that mixed up. So if we go back to the question, we got position 0 and then position 1, okay? And then we got -1. So then the way the slice works is it's just these two would print right here. So 7 is C. 8 was the output of the following code. You got your tuple here. And again, you're trying to delete the second element in it, second index item. You can't, or the second one would be this one. But you can't do that because they're immutable, so you get an error. Oh, and this one's pretty cool too. So remember what I said about, well, let's demonstrate this, okay? So you guys can kind of see it running. And I can throw in some, so if I print T right there, if I run this, I've got geeks, so that's right there, geeks. And what's cool is that now that T is assigned to this geeks right here, Python is smart enough so I can create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables and assign it to the tuple T, okay, and it would get assigned. A gets G, B gets E, C gets E, D gets K, E gets S. And so let me print A, print B, print C, print D, and print E. So G, E, E, K, S. So those are all those. And so then what we do here is we assign print B and print C. They'll be stars now. Okay, B and C are stars. And then so what I do then is I create, basically when you do this, I'm creating a brand new tuple T and assigning it to A, B, C, D, and E. And if I print that now, I've got G star star K S, okay, which is pretty cool. So your answer for that should be A, okay. And I've got all the answers down here that you guys can look at. But those are good programs, or good practice problems to show you, demonstrate how some of that stuff works, okay. All right, so let's go to our multiple choice programs. All right, and I'm just going to do the first two. You guys can look at these. Palindromes, everybody should know how to create a palindrome. I'll let you guys look at the answers. I'm not going to do that one. I don't know, you guys can look at 3 and 4, but I think 1 and 2 demonstrate. 1 will demonstrate the zip. And I'll demonstrate some different things with double colons in a minute. So anyway, this first one, I'm going to copy that. It says create 2 functions. The first function will be called Arabic to Roman. It will accept a variable called Arabic year and convert the Arabic year to a Roman. So an Arabic year is just numbers that you understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth, okay? Arabic is just like how we understand the number system, all right? But the old school Roman numeral system, that didn't work out too well. um, in old time Europe, especially in business. Imagine trying to use a Roman numeral system when you're working with like loans and interest rates. Good luck working with decimal places and all that. That would be a complete nightmare. Okay, so the second function will be called Roman to Arabic. It will accept a variable called Roman year, and it convert the Roman year to an Arabic year. Okay, so use the following so this is a hint. We're creating a tuple called Arabic, and this would make sense. You wouldn't want these variables inside here to change. So 1000 is represented with an M, 900 is represented with a CM, 500 a D, 400 CD, 100 C, 90 XC, and all the way down. Okay. So let's go into this and let's plug those in. All right, so we'll do the define Arabic to Roman, and we'll have an Arabic year. Okay, and let me think here. We'll just say Arabic year equals 1800, and we will print Arabic to Roman and pass in that Arabic year. Okay, so this is actually super slick. And you know what? I'm actually going to comment this out and demonstrate something real quick here. Alright, so watch this. What this zip does. So if I do print, and I have to use set, but I am going to, and I'm not going to use set when I'm doing this right here. It's just going to zip it, because well, let me show you. If I just do zip, and I do Arabic and Roman, okay, if I try to print that, that'll just create the object, and it's basically giving me the address of where the object is being stored at. But if I use set, what that does is look at this, look at how slick this is. It creates a, it basically zips all these up together so that they're, you're creating a dictionary of, tuples. Does that make sense? So look at this, 900. Now, dictionaries don't have a set. They don't have like an index, so that's not going to be sorted properly. But look at this, 900 CM, 500 D, 90 XC. So all these relate, 1000 M. So now, once we do this, this becomes very powerful. Okay, so I might come back to that to demonstrate. But you're gonna want to, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep that in there so that you guys get to see that. And I'm gonna I'll do a couple print statements to give blank spaces in between so that you guys can see how this works. So when I do Arabic Roman, these are just the placeholders. They're saying in Arabic and Roman. So these values inside Arabic and Roman, when I zip them up, so you know, Arabic and Roman, okay, the lowercase ones. So for all of them in there, if the Arabic year am I putting that in? If the Arabic year is greater than or equal to Arabic, then I return the Roman numeral plus Arabic year, or sorry, Arabic to Roman. So I'm going to call the method again, and I am going to now subtract my Arabic year minus Arabic. Okay, so alright, so look at this. So we're zipping all this up and we're getting something like this, okay? And we're checking to see, is the year, so when I pass in 1800 here, is 1800 greater than Arabic, which is my first value, okay? Because it's going through the first value, right? Which is this one right here. So yes, 1800 is greater than 1000, okay? So you then return the Roman value, which is m, and then you plus, and we're going to call this method up here again, only we're going to do 1800 minus 1000. So that gives me 800. So 800 is passed in here, and we run it again. So is 800 greater than 1000? Nope. So we go through, so we don't return this right here. Okay, so we go back up. Is 800 greater than 900? Nope. So then we go through again. Is 800 greater than 500? Yes. So then we get, so let me see if I can run this real quick. So we get 800 is greater than 500, so we put D down. Okay? And so then, you know, now we have, it's returning our value each time, so we get M and then D. So then we got 800, no, yeah, 800 minus 500 is 300. So it goes through here. Is 300 greater than 1000? Nope. Is it greater than 900? Nope. 500? Nope. 400? Nope. But it is greater than 100. So we get C right here from here, and then we got 300 minus 100. And it does it over again until we're right here, and it returns this. Okay, so that to me is a pretty slick. That's pretty slick and cool how that works. Okay. For the next one, I'm actually gonna comment out this because it starts to get confusing when you're printing up all this stuff. So the next one, we're going to define a Roman numeral and turn it into an Arabic number, and we'll have Roman year. So that's our Roman year that we're passing, Roman numeral year that we're going to pass in. Whoops. Okay, and this one is going to be, I'll just have Roman year equals MCM. So M is 1000, CM is 900, and then IV is 4. So that would be 1904. Okay, that's what should display. Okay, so then I would say print Roman 2 Arabic, and we'll pass in the Roman year. Okay, all right, so for this one, do I want to demonstrate some of this first? Oh, no, it's fine. So, okay, let me just write the code out, and then I'm going to go through each step. While the Roman year at position I plus the len of the Roman value, as long as that's equal to the whoops, did I totally screwed this up. I equals result, which equals 0. I'm going to say 4. Same thing here. We want our for loop to zip it up. This one's kind of harder to think through. Okay, so we zipped it up and we're going through each one of these, okay? Based off of the numbers that we have. So while the Roman so when we start off, I is 0, 0 to 0, which, you know, if we think about this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, let's go through this. All right, so first time through, we've got our Roman year, okay? And so we want to go and look at the first position of this, all right, at 0. And at position 0, we've got M, okay? So is M equal to M? Yep. So we've got now result, which is 0, plus the Arabic value is 1000. Okay. So if I did a print right here, print on result, see what happens. Prints 1000. Okay. Next up, I becomes 1. Okay. Wait a second. Okay, and I forgot something here. When I printed this, I got 1000, right? But I forgot to go through this one. So remember, it was initially 0, right? But 0 plus the length of the Roman right here is 1, right? So now I is 1. So now you're looking at 1 to 1, which is right here, is C. We're going to the next one, plus the length of the Roman where we're at position 1 in here. So you got CM, which length is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay. Right here, minus 1 gives me CM. Okay. So is CM equal to Roman? So CM is now 1900. Okay, so that's where our result is 1000 plus the Arabic number, which is 900 right here. This gets confusing. You have to really go through one step at a time. That gives us our 1900, right? Then we add where were we at? We were at, so I became 3, right? 3 plus the length of our Roman is going to give us 5, really, and so -1 will give us these two, right? So that's going to give us our IV, and so it's going to go through every single one until we get to IV, which is way down here, and that gives us our 4. So it will then add up, we had 1900 plus 4 is going to give us 1904. Okay, so play with this one for a while and see how this is kind of working. Definitely, in my mind, this is harder than this one. And again, you wouldn't program this and figure it out your first time, I don't think. You would sit and struggle and pound the keys for a while before this would just instantly make sense, because this is definitely not an easy program. Okay. For the next one, it says write a program to split a tuple every nth element. See the image below. So you're basically creating. So you've got your and this is kind of the image. They originally wanted this to be a list. I'm just creating it as a tuple. So we can create a tuple with different lists inside of it. So every third, so A goes there, D, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are multiples of 3. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 would go in there. And then at 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 would go in here. And then you got, starting at position 2, you got C, and then you got 1, 2, 3, F, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay, and you got this. So, and this one isn't, this is a pretty easy one. But we haven't gone through the some of this stuff yet. So let's look at this. So we'll create a, I just did C equals, and I'll say A, B, C, M, and then N. Okay. So I'm going to print my list underscore slice C, and it's going to be every third. Okay. Now you could change it if you want to do every second or every fourth, depending on how many list items you want to create. So let's see here, we got define list slice. We pass in, we'll accept it as S and step. Okay, so C will turn into S, and step will be set to 3. Okay, so watch this. So I'm going to show you the kind of a couple different things here. So for I in range step, so 0, 1, and 2 are within the range of step. Okay. Return S I through step. So this is 3, and so 0 uppercase S. Okay, so here we got A, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So this creates, so we'd start at 0, and then 1, 2, 3. It basically skips. Okay, starting at 0, it skips every third. Okay. So, but that only gives us one of our that only gives us this one right here. Okay. So in order to get all of them, we can do just one line of code, which is pretty crazy. So I through step for I in range step. And so what that does for whoops, this has to be okay. All right, so first time through I is 0 and step is always going to be 3 for each of these. So 0 through and skip every third. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, multiples of 3, okay? Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. G gets put down. 7, 8, 9. J gets put down. 10, 11, 12. M gets put down. Okay. Then for I in range, so this is 0, it becomes 1. So now in the next one, okay, step 1 through 3. So 1, um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7's there, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So every third. So 0, so it would be starting here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay, and then 1, 2, 3, okay. So for the next one, 2, we would start here, and so every third one. So 1, 2, 3, F, 1, 2, 3, I, 1, 2, 3, right here, okay, L. So this is kind of cool. It allows you to, you know, do every third, or, you know, you could change this to whatever you want. Let's try, we see what 4 looks like. You know, it's just every fourth one, okay? And in this case, it's doing each one, or 4 different ones, okay? So anyway, go ahead, play with these, and the last, you know, couple down here. Again, they're a lot like lists, so just remember that they're immutable, so you can't change them. And this video's done.